I'm just looking at the list of movies that we've talked about. We've done Spaceballs and Transformers and 9 to 5 and The Blind Side and Fast and Furious and the Santa Claus. So all of your movies have started with the word "the." Are you gonna,
Really?
Are you going to continue that trend?
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
So
it's not the Shrek,
gosh,
or the Shrek 2. Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever you are, sir.
right, let me. All right. All right, time. Let me tweet out this link. All right. All right, let's start this thing. All right. Whatever. And welcome back to Dropping the Hammer with Dale McFadin. I'm Dale McFadin, reporter, NASCAR reporter for FrenchPress.com and Speedsport.com, ready to talk NASCAR at New Hampshire and a lot more, including the Chicago Street Course race, which was announced yesterday. And with me again to talk over it all and break it down and just get to the nitty gritty of this week in NASCAR is a good friend, Jon, the man LaFollette, because he's now he's part of the man now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess anyone who is an attorney is technically the man, right? I mean, I don't know. Wow, isn't that kind of the point of the Taylor Swift song, "The Man"? I mean, it's not, but
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that song.
What do you mean? Are you not a Swiftie, Daniel?
The most I can say about Taylor Swift, other than I met her in an airport in Los Angeles in 2008, right before she took off.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't familiar with who she was at the time. All I got of it was a blurry cell phone picture. All I can say is that I like her song Should Have Said No. That's a really fun song. And when I saw her perform it live at the Walmart shareholders meeting a couple of years after that, it was awesome.
What were you doing at the Walmart shareholders meeting?
A friend of mine worked at Walmart at the time, and he took me as his guest.
To see Taylor Swift, or just to Walmart shareholders meeting?
It was Taylor Swift and Lifehouse. I went for Lifehouse. Spoiler warning: Lifehouse is not a good live arena band.
Oh no!
They have one good song for that atmosphere, "Hanging by a Moment."
Yeah,
everything
the rest of
else
it's like adult contemporary stuff. Yeah,
everything else is just like slow jams, love tunes, or whatever. But "Hanging by a Moment" is like their only arena song. It was bad.
And you saw them at the Walmart shareholders meeting?
They have they had concerts whenever they have the shareholders meeting. That week they have special concerts. So
is this in Bentonville, Arkansas, or is it?
No, they held the concerts at Bud Walton Arena, which is where the Arkansas Razorbacks play basketball.
Oh, okay. So it's there in Little Rock. Fayetteville. Yes, I'm so sorry. I've only driven through Arkansas twice, and I saw Little Rock, and I was like, "That's Little Rock," and then the rest was just cotton field. That's all I remember.
Yeah, you just described East Arkansas.
I mean, that's not me. That's not me pooping on Arkansas. I legitimately have no opinion on Arkansas, but I just remember like, wow, there's cotton fields everywhere down here.
It is one of the most boring drives you will ever make.
That and Kansas, the entirety of Kansas. So,
but yeah, no, those are Taylor Swift. Great voice, very attractive woman. I can only really get behind one song of hers.
Well, if her fans are called Swifties and Megan Thee Stallion's fans are called Hotties, like is there a name for like fans for certain NASCAR drivers? I know like Daniel Suarez has Daniel's Amigos, but that's not necessarily the same thing. Like, are we going to call like Reddick fans like Reddickies? I don't know.
It was like with Dale Jr. It was like Junior Nation, Kyle Busch Nation. I think that's really about as close.
No,
Kyle Busch fans are Bushies. I don't know.
that sounds like the kind of the kind of drug that you don't want to take at a college party. Hey man, you want to try these Bushies? They're sweet, man.
I'm editing this out.
And then like if you're like before your kid goes off to college, you have to have a talk with them. Like, now remember, someone hands you a fistful of Bushies, you say no. Don't report them to the cops because that's a narc, and you don't want to be a narc, but just don't take Bushies.
Ross Chastain fans would be melon heads, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably it. I literally can't think of anything else. No, I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. I'm going through the names here. No, there's nothing.
All right. So
it's I guess
Chase Elliott fans are chasers. I don't.
No. I can make a joke, but I'm not touching that one. This opening segment's been about as chaotic as the NASCAR point standings. So
there are two. Okay, so Christopher Bell won at New Hampshire on Sunday, becoming the 14th different driver to win the season. Which we've been all over the place, John, on over whether we're going to get to 16 or even, 17 winners. Just like I think 2 weeks ago, we were kind of like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think I said 15. I think I said 15 because I picked Blaney, Truex, and Harvick. Because at the time we were at 12, and in that time we had obviously Christopher Bell win, but then we had somebody. I think it was Reddick's first victory. I think we had Reddick and Bell. So like right there, just
we've had Chase Elliott wins the other like alternating races.
Right.
So but yeah, we're at 14 and we have like 6 races left in the regular season, with a lot of wild cards, or 3 of the 6 really, or 4. You can sort of count Pocono in this because it's just its own thing.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, before we get into that, what did you think of the New Hampshire race, John?
The first 2 stages I thought were just a snooze fest.
Yeah.
I know that there was passing sort of throughout passing is really hard at this track.
Yeah.
And if you had a good car, you could make moves, but even then having a good car it still seemed really hard for drivers to get to where they wanted to be. Like Ross Chastain had a good car, Kevin Harvick had a good car. Even Bubba Wallace, 2311 had a really strong weekend. Bubba Wallace was great. Probably the best drive of his Cup career. At least for a track that wasn't a super speedway race. But
well, he matched his career best finish on and on super speedway. He finished third at Indianapolis.
Yes.
In 2019.
Yes. So, but then at the same time, despite all of the jostling that was kind of going on within the top 10 or so, top 12 to 10, it was just the Martin Truex show up front. And it just seemed like it was his race to win. And finally, because, he's had a pretty decent year. I think in terms of point standings, he's like 9th right now? Like not including playoff standings, but like if you just look at like the raw points, like he's
Who, Truex? You said Truex? 4th.
Yeah.
Truex is 4th.
Yeah. So like he's in the top 5. Just in terms of raw points, but he just hasn't been able to get a win. And you think like, oh, here, finally, this is his week, because he was just dominating that race. And they showed the stats on the broadcast of how many laps he's led without winning there. And I was like, oh no, they just jinxed him.
It's always a graphic. It's always a graphic that does it. It's like, oh no, start knocking on wood, guys.
Yeah.
They pointed to the obvious.
So
we're screwed.
I didn't know if like this new car just wasn't good for the track, or if they just needed to reapply PJ1, or if Martin Truex just really had that good of a car. It's really hard to tell. And then that late caution came out, and Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex, who were the two best cars all day, were stuck in traffic, and then you just never heard from him again. And then it was Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell the rest of the way. So, yeah, the third stage was interesting, but the first two, man, I was just like, oh no. I texted you. I was like, oh no, oh no, it's a bad flat track race again.
I think all you texted me was they're not passing.
Yeah, that was in the first 20 laps. It's like, oh no, it's just single file.
But I responded like, there's guys who are moving up through the field. Like Harvick was, Chastain was. So there were guys who were able to do it, but like Harvick's really good at tracks like that. He's really good at flat tracks. But yeah, Truex swept both stages, which he's done that was the 15th time he's done that. It was the 15th time he's swept the first two stages of race. That stat boggled my mind. Like I kind of forget like how long we've been doing stages. I think it's what?
I think it's the third or fourth year.
5? I think it's 5.
5, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, but still, even in that amount of time to do that 15 times, that's remarkable.
And I think they said of those 15 times, he's only won 6. Something like that.
That's still a good percentage.
And you just, like I said, it just looked like it was his race, and it just, there's a chance that he might be finishing the top 5 in raw points and miss the playoffs. And you just look ahead at the schedule, and like there's nothing. I mean, maybe Richmond. I think Richmond might be the strongest race for him, but like you don't know what to expect with Pocono necessarily.
Truex is really good at road courses, but
GGR's
not good on road courses right now.
Yeah, not right now. So, I think he showed well at Road America, but something happened late in the race. I'd have to go back and check the stats for that race. But yeah, like you said, by and large, JGR just doesn't have it for road courses right now. So it's hard to consider Watkins Glen or the Indianapolis road course. But, he came in, he's finished, I think he's won Watkins Glen before, has he not? I know he's finished.
Truex has done it once.
Yeah, and then he finished second behind Chase that one year when Chase got his first win. So,
yeah.
But then, like, you've got the Daytona. That's an absolute wild card. Who knows how Michigan's going to go? It could just be like another California where it's another wild card race. There's nothing really, like I said, like Richmond seems to be the one that you could foreseeably see him winning. But again, like just across the board for a lot of these races, there's not really anything that you would say like, oh, I definitely pick, driver A, B, C to win. I mean, the only driver I would pick to win right now is Chase Elliott just because he's so red hot. I mean, the last month he's finished no worse than second. So
5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Of drivers who are competing full time this season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
you said 17.
8, 9. Okay, yeah. Okay. Of everyone who's competing full time, 17 drivers don't have wins yet.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so the more drivers have not won than those who have won. So we got 6 races left. Let's go maximum chaos, John. All right, maximum chaos. There's 2 spots.
That's the name of the episode now.
Maximum chaos.
Maximum chaos.
All right. So 6 races left in the regular season.
Yes.
Pocono, Indianapolis road course, Michigan, Richmond, Watkins Glen, Daytona. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 6 races. All right, we're just going to go 6 races, 6 different brand new winners. All right.
Okay.
So these are the drivers who haven't won a race yet: Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Michael McDowell, Justin Haley, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, who is, just still deep in the points. Like
because of that penalty. Yeah. I show him 29th.
Okay, gosh. Like he's in the top 30 then. Oh well.
Yeah.
Good for he needs to be in the top 30. Corey LaJoy, who's not in the top 30, right?
Nope, he's 31st.
Yeah, all right.
By a pretty considerable margin too. He's like 50 points behind Todd Gilliland.
Oh
like,
boy.
yeah.
Like even if he had won at Atlanta, I think he would have had to still work points. So.
Yep. And you're still missing Ty Dillon, Harrison Burton, and Cole Custer.
And Todd Gilliland.
Yep.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So, all right. Pocono. Who wins Pocono? These are not our official race picks. These are
just for chaos.
Just for chaos.
Ryan Blaney.
I actually looked him up.
Like he's won there before, is he not?
No, he got his first win there in 2017.
That's right.
But since then, 9 starts. He's only led 32 laps and only finished better than 10th 3 times.
Oh no!
And his best finish was 5th. So it's not like an exceptional track for him.
No, it's not a gimme by any means. And he didn't, and he was a no-show at New Hampshire. And he was like the Vegas favorite going into the weekend.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. That struck me as odd, but he was the Vegas favorite to win, and he was a no-show, absolute no-show. But like you look ahead, and it's like, what races could he win? I mean, there's Daytona, obviously, but like anyone can win Daytona.
He won Michigan last year.
He did.
Richmond's like his worst track.
I'm gonna say Michigan for someone else, and I'll pick.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
Right, so Pocono. Who
Blaney.
wins?
I'll take Blaney.
All right. So okay, I will take. Let's go Harvick.
Harvick. Okay.
Harvick. Pocono. All right.
Okay. The road course.
Indianapolis road course. Second time there. Who? I know Chase Briscoe almost won that last year.
I know
Denny Hamlin almost won that last year before AJ Allmendinger swooped in.
I know we're like 10 days away, and that's still a ways out. But I'm looking at the weather forecast. I was looking at the weather forecast for that day, and it's supposed to like rain all afternoon.
Never covered a rain race. Bring it on.
So we might get a rain race. Again, we're a week and a half out still, but that's just something to keep in mind as we roll up closer to Indy. And just to go back to Pocono real quick, excuse me. I'm looking forward to Pocono more just to see how this car does potentially for returning to Indianapolis to an oval race. Because Pocono and Indy, Pocono's its own thing, but like they're both big tracks, they're flat with very little banking on turns. Yeah. In a broad sense, they're very similar. And I would wager that the way that this car races at Pocono would kind of be a reasonable facsimile to how it would race at the oval at the Motor Speedway. So
and Dustin Long at NBC Sports, my former editor, he did a story, asking drivers, okay, should the next gen car be used at the oval? And some of the drivers, including I believe Ryan Blaney, said, actually, I think it would be worse with this car. It's like, oh no.
Okay. I mean, hey, and that's totally fine. And I appreciate an honest opinion. I would be open, however Cup cars race at the Motor Speedway here in Indy, be it the road course or the oval. I just want a good race.
Yeah.
And if the road course is going to be a better race, then so be it. Honestly, the easy answer here is just build up the facilities at IRP and go back and race at IRP. I know the Truck Series is doing that this year, and the Xfinity Series used to race there. Why not just build up the facilities and have the Cup race move there? The NHRA, owns that facility now. Maybe NASCAR, the NHRA, could come to some sort of agreement to make that track worthy for Cup races with facilities and garage spaces and things like that. Make that a Saturday night race in the middle of the summer. That seems like a win-win, but if that was ever going to happen, I suspect that already would have happened. I'm getting ahead of myself. Who's going to win this race? Who's going to win this race? I've already picked, you know what? I've already picked Blaney. Of the guys who haven't won, who's a good road course raceway? I mean, Truex, but
Truex. McDowell. He, this year anyway, he's
done well.
He showed up at Sonoma.
I'll go with Chris Buescher. Came in second at Sonoma. Ran pretty well.
Won at Road America in the Xfinity Series.
Yes.
Was running in the top 10 at Road America.
I will go with Chris Buescher.
Okay.
And in the last couple of weeks, like he's had speed in that car. That car has looked really strong. The 17 is ahead of the 6 car, it seems to be.
I'll take Truex.
Okay. I will also pick Harvick and Truex to win. I'm just saving them for other races.
Yeah.
So next we go to Michigan. Oh boy.
I'm taking Bubba Wallace.
I'm taking Harvick.
Okay. All right.
Because he's won a bunch there before. I remember like the doubleheader there for the COVID year where they had a doubleheader at Michigan and he just like dominated both races. It wasn't even.
Well, that was with the high downforce package.
Yes, it was a different package.
So, it was a different time.
Yes, it seems like a lifetime ago. But I mean, to be fair to Kevin Harvick, like yeah, they haven't won races, but they've had speed the last couple of weeks. It seems like they're trending in the right direction. I'll still pick them for Michigan, and you're taking Bubba.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Based off how he did at Kansas, had a arguably either a second place or a first place car, but we'll never know.
Nope.
Never know. All right, and then after,
then it's Richmond.
All right.
Oh God. This is tricky. This is really tricky. You know, I don't. Man, now we just have dead air on the podcast. It sucks. Just to throw a name out there, and just for the sake of this experiment, I'll just say Eric Almirola.
Okay. All right.
I know. I know. I'm just like you. It's like I don't think that's going to happen. But like, he still won it. I don't know if he stole one last year at New Hampshire because like he had a good car. He ran well. Just surprised a lot of people. So why not have lightning strike twice, and this time at Richmond? So
I'm already forgetting like who I picked for certain races. Richmond. Has Keselowski won at Richmond? I think he's won at Richmond.
I think he has.
I'm gonna save him. Gosh.
Here's Keselowski at Richmond. He won last year. Yeah, he
did. Wow. Okay.
He won September of 2 years ago. I'm sorry, September of 2020. And then he won in 2014 as well. So he's a 2-time winner.
All right, fine. I'll go with Keselowski for Richmond.
All right, Keselowski. And then next is Watkins Glen. That's my Truex pick.
Okay. All right. We'll go McDowell.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. Man, he's had such a good year. Good for him and that team.
Yeah.
And then next is Daytona, which could shape up to be one of the all-time regular, one of the all-time regular season races.
Which is funny because, like, I covered that last year, and I thought it was going to be just an absolute cluster, and they behaved themselves like until the very end.
Until the end, yeah.
And then it just, but for 2.5 stages, it's like, all right, this is really good racing. I'm on the edge of my seat. Nothing bad's happened. And then, someone threw a grenade, the last, 10 laps or whatever.
Who won that race last year?
Ryan Blaney.
That's right. Yeah, it was Blaney. That's right.
Who I bought. I went to Walmart today, went to the toy aisle, saw what their wares were when it came to die casts. And they had the Ryan Blaney race win die cast. I was like, I'll take you.
There you go. Nice. I am going to get the Daniel Suarez diecast for his first win, and I still need to get the Bubba Wallace win from his Talladega win last year.
Which size? 120.
Like the 160, 124. Yeah, like the actual like decent sized diecast. Not
okay,
like
124. Yeah, big one.
Yeah. So I'd like to, because I don't have like the only NASCAR I have. It's right back here. It's my Bubba Wallace Black Lives Matter diecast, and it's signed. It came signed.
Oh damn! Oh damn!
Yeah, it was cool. So, have you picked Blaney to win yet?
I think did I pick him for Pocono?
I picked him for Pocono.
You did?
Yeah.
Sure. Wait, which?
Who did you? You should have wrote this down.
I started writing them down too late. Here's the thing. Okay, like right now, like Brian Blaney, like there's two spots left in to get on points. It's Truex and Blaney.
Yeah.
But Blaney could win the regular season points without winning a race
And get in.
So
yeah, he could. It doesn't seem likely, but he could. And Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain would have to really struggle here down the stretch. But so just to recap, I remember my picks. So Pocono was Blaney. Indy Road Course, I picked Buescher. Michigan, I picked Harvick. Richmond, I picked Almirola. Watkins Glen, I picked Truex. And then for Daytona, man, there's like 3 people I want to pick. It's Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, or Bubba Wallace.
For me, it's Blaney, Stenhouse, and Eric Jones.
Yeah, Stenhouse too. You know, Bubba's came in second there at that race twice, at least at that track twice, not this particular race. Eric Jones has won there before. Austin Dillon obviously has won there before. Stenhouse obviously is a good plate racer, or super speedway racer, excuse me. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. Just to pick a sentimental favorite, I'll just go with Bubba. That'll be my pick. Driving the McDonald's car to victory lane to guarantee a playoff spot.
I don't know what on the hero cards for Wallace it lists where the McDonald's races are. I have no idea if he has that for Daytona or not.
Last summer Daytona race, it was like the Columbia car where they made it look like a fish. It was really cool. Really cool.
They do a really good job with the Columbia schemes. The scheme for Road America where it was like fish made to look like the American flag.
Yes.
Like, that's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just the schemes in general out of 2311 and Trackhouse have been really, really good. Granted, Kurt Busch's is really easy with Monster because like their logo is just so it's just iconic. And I'm a sucker for matte black finishes. So it's none of that.
Oh yeah. I loved the furniture row.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like simple, clean.
Yeah. None of that glossy black, just that matte black finish. It looks great.
All right. So who are you taking Daytona?
I picked Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba.
But I mean, gosh, given how depending on what happens if some of these other races leading up to Daytona, that race is already a madhouse. It could be incredibly insane. Like I would hate to be one of the drivers on the outside in having to win at Daytona, especially like Blaney or Truex or Harvick. Like if they don't win any of these races up to Daytona and now they're suddenly on the bubble and you've got to put all your eggs in the Daytona basket. Ooh. Who are you picking?
Like in that kind of situation, I would kind of lean towards Blaney because he is a very just like centered, doesn't really, go off the handle or anything, except at the Busch Clash where he threw his Hans device at Eric Jones, which is that's still like a top 5 what just happened moment for me because you don't expect that from him.
Well, he's a bad teammate decision away from being a Daytona 500 winner this year. So
yeah. All right. I'm gonna go.
That's no shade against Austin Cindric. You got to do what you got to do. It's Daytona 500, but
yeah, I'm gonna go with Corey LaJoy,
which he would win, and he probably wouldn't even make the playoffs. Like I said, he's 50 points behind 30th. 50. Like Todd Gilliland's 50 points ahead of him. That's a lot of points to make up within a certain. I mean, hey, if he gets the win and Gilliland comes in last and he wins a bunch of stages, maybe in one race alone he could make up 50 points. I doubt it, but
Though, yeah, it will be interesting to see if Ty Dillon somehow appears out of thin air
or
wins. How do you like me now, GMS?
It's a rain shortened race and BJ McLeod wins.
Oh my!
And then
it'd be so the Justin Haley situation.
yes. But why? I'd be happy for him. But yes, he wouldn't even. How come BJ McLeod? Whenever I look up points, I don't see BJ McLeod on ESPN or NASCAR's website for points.
Well, he's not full. He hasn't ran every race for one.
Oh, really? I thought what races does he miss? It seems like he's always there every week.
Yeah, he's only made 16 starts, so there's 4 races he hasn't.
Oh, okay. I wonder if
That's why.
I'd be curious to know which races they weren't. I would assume some of them are road courses, but again, it's neither here nor there right now. Okay, so we picked our winners. Now what?
All right, so I don't know. So New Hampshire, good last third of the race. Christopher Bell won for his second career win. I didn't realize how good he was at New Hampshire. He's made 3 Xfinity starts there, won all 3.
Yes.
Made 2 truck starts, won one of them. And so I think this would have made his 3rd Cup start.
So now he's Mr. New Hampshire then.
I mean, yeah. Like he had it in the long run. He got around Chase Elliott. Thank you, number 19 team, for not having the right pit strategy.
Yes.
Or this would have been such a different podcast.
Well, speaking of how long did it take you to get used to the paint schemes for JGR this weekend?
I want to talk to someone at JGR, their sponsors. Okay, so how are you guys doing this? Because when Sports Clips was on Bush at some point this year or last year, and that was weird. It's like,
yeah, and it's been on Danny Hamlin's car and Christopher Bell, but seeing the green Interstate Batteries car,
Interstate Batteries on the 19 is like,
and then seeing Kyle Busch in a DeWalt car.
Yes,
I was like, what?
What is happening?
I was like, what? Like for a second, I thought like the graphics on like NBC's broadcast were messed up. I was like, aren't you excited? I was like, oh yeah, I know that. Like it took me to like 30 laps before I finally got used to seeing those colors with those drivers. It was just jarring.
It's next thing you know, we'll be seeing like Bass Pro on Kyle Busch's car. It's like I don't know. I don't think Kyle Busch has ever fished in his life, so I don't know.
And then Denny Hamlin would be what, like the Ream car. See Martin Truex in a FedEx car with Jordan brand logos.
Like Hamlin had Coke on his car for the first time in Atlanta. Looked great.
Yeah, really good car.
Very, very good.
I was shocked that was the first time that's ever happened because he's a Coca-Cola driver.
Yeah, but he's gone his entire career with having FedEx on the car pretty much every single race up until last year.
Yeah,
when they got the offer pad stuff in there for a few races, and now you got Coke on it, which it made sense for Atlanta because that's Coke's home.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was surprised that we hadn't seen one on him so far. But no, that was a great car. So anyway, New Hampshire, it was decent, but was it 82.7% according to the Jeff Gluck poll? John, was it an 82.7 race?
I was kind of on the fence of how to vote. I voted no ultimately just because, like you said, it was a third of a good race.
But that was like 90 laps. I mean, that's a lot of a lap.
It's a lot of a race. I ultimately just voted no because I just couldn't get over the fact that the first 2 stages were just utter snooze fests.
I voted yes because 90 laps is significant. It's like I was like, how is this going to play out? There was the fuel mileage kind of aspect that never.
Yeah, I totally get where someone would vote yes for this. And like I said, I was on the fence. I had to talk myself into it. I did vote no, but I was in the minority.
This wasn't like 295 laps were uneventful, and then we got like this 5 lap.
Yeah, someone blew a tire with 5 to go. And we got
then I would have said no.
Yeah.
But this was so yeah. According to the Jeff Gluck poll, it was 82.7, which is now on Google. It's the poll is no longer on Twitter because apparently someone
bought votes to try and sabotage. Someone bought votes to sabotage the Atlanta race.
How much free time do you have to have on your hand?
I have no idea.
Do that.
It's probably like a shareholder for one of the for the company that owns Atlanta. It's just like, I'll get back at them. I will sabotage this Twitter poll. Surely that will show them the error of their ways. So, I'm with you. I legitimately don't know who would have that kind of time or even that level of interest to care enough to try and do it. But
not me.
Yeah, not me. Sayla. Also, I want to know how much money it cost to because did you listen to the Teardown podcast? Where he said that it was like 6,000 votes. So someone bought 6,000 no votes. I want to know how much money that cost. Like, is it just the price of like one like sad monkey face or whatever for all those NFTs?
Somewhere in a house in America, a young child is coming up to their parents going, "Papa, why can't I afford to go to college?" Well, Cindy, about 10 years ago, I in a moment of weakness, I spent a good chunk of change to sabotage Jeff Gluck's good race poll on Twitter. What's Twitter? That's beside the fact, Cindy.
Who's Jeff Gluck? You know, that's no shade to Jeff Gluck, but like, you know,
but yeah,
little kids not gonna
6
know
years
who he
ago,
is.
I dipped into what would have been your college fund. I'm sorry.
To influence a Twitter poll because I hate that Corey LaJoy got robbed. Maybe it was Corey LaJoy. There's your conspiracy. It was Corey LaJoy, the Stacking Pennies podcast guy, took all those pennies that he's been stacking and he exchanged them for 6,000 no votes on Jeff Gluck's good race poll. But yes, I'm glad it survived. I'm glad it's still going in a different format. New Hampshire was 82%, 82.7. So we'll just go with 82% for purposes of what we do here for the Rotten Tomatoes thing. I've won 2 straight. We're tied at 2 apiece. So last week I beat you with Spaceballs. So what do you got for me?
That's a weird sentence.
So what do you got for me this week? I went first last time, so now it's your turn to go first.
All right. Oh, this was actually, I was hoping to use this as a transition into our next segment. But you know, it was an eventful Tuesday in the NASCAR world after months of, you know, this being the worst kept secret in NASCAR.
Yes.
NASCAR finally announced in Chicago yesterday that the July 4th weekend in 2023, the race will not be held in Daytona. It will not be held in Road America. It will be held on the streets of Chicago. And so before we talk about that, though, the movie I chose, I think, is a quintessential Chicago movie. If you said Chicago movie, this would be the movie I would think of first.
Is it the musical Chicago?
No, it's not. No. You know, like what do you do when you fake sick? You know, fool your parents into thinking you're sick, and you go on a joyride with your friend's dad's Ferrari with your girlfriend. You know, visiting the sites. You know, going to art museums, going to the stock exchange. You know, tricking a restaurant.
Listen to the Beatles songs.
Oh yeah, you know, spontaneously doing you know, singing Twist and Shout during what parade was it? It was like,
I forget what parade it was.
But there's like, I think it's something German related. But anyway,
we can just pretend it was a White Sox World Series victory parade.
You're a White Sox guy. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't follow baseball, but like, yeah, sure.
If you had to choose.
Yeah, if I had to choose, yeah, I would cheer for the White Sox.
Anyway, John, I am pitting you against the Jeff Gluck Good Race poll result for New Hampshire versus the 1986 John Hughes Classic, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Surely that has more than an 82. It has to. There's no like I don't know a single person who's watched that movie and not liked it.
I agree. Yeah,
that's so weird that we even be in the conversation for this. That would mean like for every 4 people that like it, 1 don't. I'm gonna go higher.
Ferris Bueller's is higher?
Yes, I'm gonna say Ferris Bueller's higher than New Hampshire. Really?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes based off 74 reviews.
An 81.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Wow.
Like, I've never met someone who didn't like
what do the negative reviews even say about it?
I don't know.
I hate everything and I want to die. Like, period. Like, what?
Like, it's just a fun movie. Like, from start to finish, it's just fun. It's
iconic.
Got a great soundtrack. I mean, it's I don't get it. So, but yeah, 81%. lower than the New Hampshire Race Bowl.
Well, that breaks my streak. Well, that gives you a chance to retake the lead.
Bring it on.
So mine doesn't tie. I'm glad you tied yours into Chicago, and I'm excited to talk about Chicago. But for me, we're in the dog days of summer here. 4th of July is over.
I almost chose the movie Heat just because it's hot. I almost did.
God, that movie rules. Man, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I remember the first time I watched Heat, and like when there's that extended like
I tried watching it once. I didn't get far into it.
Oh, it's so good. There's an extended like shootout sequence in like the streets of like downtown. I think it's LA, but it's so loud. Like the gunshots are so loud because it just ricochets off the sound, ricochets off all the buildings.
That's kind of Michael Mann's kind of trademark, because Michael Mann did the Tom Cruise movie. Collateral.
Yes,
and it's like that the guns are very loud.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so loud. Retry Heat. I know it's long. I know it's 3 hours, but so good.
There's a sequel book coming out that's co-written by Michael Mann.
Oh really? What's it?
Yeah.
Heat 2? Heatier?
Yeah, basically.
Heat 2. Heatier. Heatier. So we're in the dog days of summer. 4th of July is over. A lot of kids got nothing to do but sit around and wait for school to start up. It's super hot. You're just looking for a break. So, but not, while Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick and all these other, Chase Elliott are having a great summer, there are some people like Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex, and Kevin Harvick, who on paper you would think are having a good summer, but things are not always as they seem. And especially in this movie that takes place in summer, the word summer is in the title because it's based off of a holiday called Midsummer, the 2019 horror film.
I have not seen that movie.
I know you're not. Are you not a horror guy?
No.
Okay.
I like horror comedies, but the straight up horror, no.
Fair enough. This is Midsummer. Tells the story of it stars Florence Pugh. She's in it. She's the main character.
She was a Russian assassin.
Her and her friend. This movie came out in 2019. So her and her friends make a trip over to Europe to visit a village during this midsummer holiday. And they get stuck inside of a terrifying like pagan cult. A lot of weird stuff starts happening.
I remember it, but I've never seen
a lot of weird, violent, dark things start happening. But the thing is like almost this entire movie takes place in the middle of the day. So like there's no like dark jump scares. Most of this movie's in the middle of the day. So Midsummer, starring Florence Pugh. Did critics like this? Or did more people like New Hampshire, starring Christopher Bell?
I vaguely remember there being a lot of critical buzz around that, even knowing I would never watch it. Higher, the movie's higher.
Correct, by one. Got an 83%.
All right.
Yes, it's very long. It's like 2.5 hours, which for a horror movie that's long for any movie, let alone a horror movie. So I will keep that in mind.
At some point, we're gonna do a spinoff of this podcast, John, where we just review all the movies we've been.
So, maybe I should rewatch Midsummer. I don't know. That's I got to be in a really bad spot to watch that. And I've actually been in a good mood.
Or we just host a film festival, the Jeff Gluck racing whole film.
Does he know about this? I know that I
tag him every time, but I haven't got a response from him.
Well, is he going to be okay? You're going to be in town for the Indy road course race, and I live in Indy. So if there's a tweet up, we can talk to him about this.
If he's there,
which who knows? We'll see. Well, that's the end of that. You have a 3-2 lead, and we're winding up here towards the playoffs.
I know my movies.
I know you do. Damn it. My goal is to beat you in this so badly. But we will see as the rest of the season goes. But yes, you mentioned it. Chicago.
Yeah.
The worst kept secret.
Yeah.
Everyone knew this was happening. They announced it. Bubba Wallace was there driving his McDonald's Toyota through the streets of Chicago. It looked really cool.
There were people, asking Bob Podkris on Twitter, why Bubba Wallace? It's like, it's Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
The Bulls are located in Chicago. Michael Jordan played on the Bulls.
Yeah.
He owns Bubba Wallace's car.
Yeah.
Bubba Wallace is also the most recognizable driver in NASCAR right now.
Yeah. Weird.
What's hard about
that? Stop making sense, Daniel. You're making too much sense. No, don't do that. I did see, I don't know if you saw this, but Road America, who lost their spot on the Cup Series schedule, put out a statement saying this couldn't have happened at the worst possible time. So
that's not what it said.
No, that's not what it said.
I appreciate the callback.
That's not what it said. But yeah, honestly, I'm fine with it. As we've said before, if you're NASCAR, this is an obvious move.
Yeah,
you're taking your sport to the people instead of building a track, which is never going to happen again, or trying to have a race out in the middle of nowhere, far away from where everyone is, and hope they come to you. Just bring the race to them.
Yeah.
Especially
Road America is great. I'm glad I got to experience that before this happened. I got to do it once. It was incredible. I want to go back, though I want to be in better physical walking condition. But Road America, that is a diehard track. That's what that like.
Yes.
That. So.
Do you know? Here's some demographics for you. The entire population of Wisconsin. How much do you think it is?
I actually looked this up yesterday. just think about it. And I don't remember the numbers, but
it's 5.8 million people for the whole state of Wisconsin. For just the metro area of Chicago, it's 9.5 million people. Almost 10 million people. So almost double the population of the entire state of Wisconsin, just in the Chicago metro area. Yeah. And you're going to put a cup race there, especially near the Grant Park area, which is where Lollapalooza is every year. It's a major area where there's a lot of foot traffic. The roads are very wide there because it's a major part where there's a lot of road traffic. So like, it's not like this is going to be like a narrow street course like what IndyCar had in Nashville last year. It's going to be very wide, lots of passing opportunities. It just makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, why wouldn't NASCAR do this?
Also, like, NASCAR race at Chicagoland for 18, 19 years. That's in Joliet, Illinois. That's 40 minutes or whatever away from the downtown area. That takes effort.
Yes.
Like it takes effort to get to most NASCAR tracks. I'm pretty sure there are adults within the city limits of Chicago who have never left the city limits of Chicago.
Yeah.
So put like this, it makes all the sense of the world.
Yeah, instead of especially in a place like Chicago, a lot of people don't even have cars because they don't need to, because they've got public transportation. So now they can just hop on the L right down to Grant Park and boom, you're in the middle of a NASCAR race. And there's a friend of mine that I went to high school with that I still talk to pretty regularly. She's a Black woman, and she started following NASCAR in 2020 because of everything that happened with Bubba Wallace. So she knows who Bubba Wallace is. She knows about 2311 Racing. And she's even expressed interest to me about wanting to attend a NASCAR race. And when this news broke, like, she texted me saying, like, I'm going to have a NASCAR party at my apartment next year, and I'm going to go to this race, and I'm going to wear a bunch of Bubba Wallace stuff. And like, she's a Black woman.
I don't know this woman, but I wanted to invite myself to this party.
Yeah. Like, Billy, she says she's going to have a NASCAR party next year, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just going to be something for the whole city to get behind. Like this, I don't see where the loss is here. There could be a loss.
I was at Road America. Like I said, I was at America, and I lost count of the number of people who, especially at the tweet up with Bob, was like, who were they were just dismayed that like they might lose their date. It's like I get it. This is a great track, historic track, but you can't treat the Road America race date as a sacred thing in the NASCAR, because it's not.
No,
it can't be sacred after 2 years. Southern 500,
and especially when it's a Tyler Reddick pass away from just being the Chase Elliott show 2 straight years.
Yeah.
Like I get that it's historic, and I get that among the racing diehards, it holds a sacred place. But in terms of on-track product, it just hasn't been there for the Cup Series. It just hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, but like I can't remember if we've actually talked about it. Like, when it comes to the schedule, the only sacred don't touch this things, in my opinion, are the Daytona 500, the Coke 600, Southern 500, which they messed with that and then put it back where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And the Bristol night race, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Because like the Brickyard 400 is no longer the Brickyard 400; it's now the road course race.
Yeah.
Which I know most people disagree with me. In my mind, it's still Indianapolis.
Yeah.
If I'm crossing the Yard of Bricks in front of that pagoda to win a race, I don't care if it's going this way or that way. I have won a race at Indianapolis. To me, that's still a big deal. I don't care how many corners I have to race around.
Right. And if you wanna win at the Brickyard, turning left and you're a NASCAR guy, just try the Indy 500. Talk to Jimmy Johnson, talk to Kurt Busch, and try the Indy 500. There you go. Like it's that easy. I mean, I know it's way more difficult than that, but you get what I'm saying.
But for me, those 4 or 5 races, those are the things you do not touch.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything else is negotiable.
Yeah,
NASCAR needs to be nimble when they need to be in order to just get maximum, just get the most out of what they can.
Right. Like what they did with the Clash, like moving it to LA, putting it in a major area. It got a ton of people to show up and a ton of people watched it on TV. Like the ratings of it were through the roof. And I really have high hopes for this street course, which is NASCAR's first in their history, which I didn't know. I would assume they'd done street course racing before.
Well, the NASCAR Southwest Series back in like 2000, like 99, 2000, they did like 2 street court races in Los Angeles. They were racing around the Coliseum.
That's cool.
And then the Xfinity Series, went to Montreal for about 5 years, and that's like a hybrid course. It's like both specifically built and also kind of in streets. So there was that, but this is completely new. But back on Road America, there are other races that should have lost, or other tracks that should have lost race dates. Kansas, Richmond, you can't fill up those places anymore.
Yeah. No, why Richmond has 2 races is beyond me.
Yeah.
Honestly,
15 years ago, now no.
Honestly, I'd be okay if they would have taken Texas off the schedule completely.
Well, that NASCAR doesn't own Texas. That's an SMI track. So you have to think about tracks that NASCAR owns.
That's true.
So Kansas put on a great race, a few months ago with Kurt Busch winning, but the attendance has been terrible.
Well, it also just doesn't need 2. It doesn't need 2 races. Like, I don't know why they had why they gave Pocono 2 races for so long, like within like a month apart, and then they wondered why the attendance was bad. It's like, because you're going there twice in a month. Oftentimes less seems to be more.
Has never really been bad at Pocono for the most part that I can remember. But the whole within a month, that never made sense to me.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But no, yes. We're on the same page here in the fact that if you're NASCAR, you obviously do this. It was a 3-year deal, correct? So they're at least going to do this for 3 years.
It's been what The Athletic, they got a letter that Chicago sent to NASCAR, and then it stated 3 years.
I mean,
but they didn't say yesterday 3 years, but yes, 3 years.
Yeah, this on paper, this all sounds great. The only question is, will it race well? And I'm
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott said a couple weeks ago, it needs to be a good event. It doesn't matter whether we as drivers or the teams like the track, as long as that thing goes off without a hitch. There's nothing embarrassing or anything. The optics of NASCAR racing along Lake Michigan, the skyline behind them, this event atmosphere.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have concerts galore there. I mean,
for everything I've heard, the F1 Grand Prix in Miami wasn't a great race, but it was still a spectacle.
Yes, the race was not good, but that as long as it's a party, people remember the party.
Yeah.
I would still hope the race delivers on that as well.
Like, this is IndyCar. They have their street courses: Long Beach, St. Petersburg, Toronto, Detroit. Are they ever really good races? Ever?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not much of an IndyCar guy, but yeah, I
Hey,
think
don't, hey.
hey,
I like IndyCar.
hey, I didn't say you hate IndyCar.
Like, but the last memorable street course race that I can remember watching was in Houston back in like 14. I think it's the one that I think it's the one that Franchitti got injured in.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that, like, oh, this is great. But other than that, like, second place. Can he get around first place with 2 laps to go? No, he's not. I mean, he's not. He can't do the thing he needs to do because he doesn't have freaking bumpers. He can't force him out of the way. There's no room, and there's no room for him when you come down to it. No, he's not going to get around. Like, I think Long Beach this year. Scott
McLaughlin.
Yeah, he won, and the guy who finished second was right on his tail, but there was never going to be a chance. It was never going to happen. With NASCAR, you got those fenders, baby. You got those God-given fenders
on a new car where there's little give.
So I can't wait. Like,
it's gonna be fun.
Most of the Twitter reaction was like, "Oh, that track looks that there's no passing zones. You don't need you make the passing zones."
Well, I think there's going to be plenty of passing zones. I mean, there's plenty of long enough straightaways leading up to tight corners. But yeah, like you said, like there's going to be plenty of passing and bumping, I would suspect. I'm genuinely excited for it. And like I went online and I gave in my information to get notifications for when tickets go on sale. Like I really am going to try and make a concerted effort to go to this race next year. Like I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope to go. So,
John,
and besides, it's only like a 3-hour drive from my house, which isn't that bad, especially considering I get an hour back because of the time change. So should I also make plans to attend with you? Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Darlington, Chicago.
Sure.
Let's.
Yeah. The more the merrier. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I know a couple people in Chicago where I could probably have a free place.
Like, oh man, like I for the most part love road course racing in general, but like when I was at Road America, that was my first natural. Like, oh yeah, Coda, if you want to call that natural or anything, but being a fan at a road course race is not a great experience because you pick unless you want to walk and do a lot of walking.
Yes,
you're pretty much going to commit to either the turn for your ticket or like at Road America, turn 5.
Yeah, which
was just a flood of humanity, and that's your spot. And luckily in turn 5 they have a video board so you could see what's happening. But if you're in a section of track where there's not a video board,
yeah,
you better turn on that radio because that's
and especially in a place like Road America that's 4 miles long. My goodness.
No, and there's no the cell signal. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Of course it is. Well, yeah, because you're out in the middle of nowhere. You're out in the boonies.
Well, but luckily, Chicago, you would hope.
You would hope
they have good cell reception.
I would be curious to see like what the seating arrangements are going to look like. I mean, obviously, I would assume they have grandstands along the front stretch because right there is where like the big fountains are and everything. And,
well, that's where all the cabanas are going to be.
Yeah,
suites and stuff.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see what seating arrangements look like. But yeah, I'm genuinely going to try and make a concerted effort to get to that race next year. Good. For sure. I'm really looking forward to it. Big win for NASCAR already. And I can't wait to see how this new car races on it. So
this should have happened a long time ago.
I agree.
Like NASCAR is the number 1 sport in the country, though, F1's, coming along trying to.
Yeah, F1's getting there.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever get there.
I don't think it will either. But
once that Netflix show goes away, I'm curious what happens.
Well, I am curious to see just the demographics, like when they look at the NASCAR, like the ratings for NASCAR are big, but like the 18 to 49-year-old audience, like F1 has right now. So I mean, that's just something to keep in mind. Who knows
at some point, that 18 to 49 demographic is going to figure out, oh wait, this racing isn't that great. I'm just here for the Netflix drama apparently and the party.
Always the party and the status and the prestige. But yeah, I'm with you. It should have happened a while ago, but I'm glad it's happening now. I'm looking forward.
So IndyCar has what, four street court races,
Yes.
F1's got Miami now here.
They're going to have Vegas next year.
It's gonna have Vegas. Like NASCAR is playing catch up in this, and like if it wasn't, I wrote this in my column at frenchers.com. Like if it wasn't for that 5-year sanctioning agreement that NASCAR had with its tracks that ended in 2020, I would love to know where NASCAR would be right now. Because this should have been happening so much sooner.
Yep.
Like
I agree.
So,
but a lot of people in NASCAR, and especially in auto racing in general, it's old money, old way of thinking, old mindset. If it's not broke, why fix it? So,
well, a lot of people will argue it was broken for a better part of a decade.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
It just took forever for people to wake up.
And I'm glad that this will be on NBC, not Fox. So, I'm glad that NBC.
That should. I'm curious what the schedule will be because the July 4th race this year was the second NBC race.
Yes.
Because Nashville's first.
Yes.
I would imagine, like, you make this race number one for the second half of the season, right?
I don't know. I mean, Nashville and then Chicago is not a bad 1-2 punch.
But just the significance of this race.
For sure.
I think you want that to be the headliner.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I don't know.
So, but yeah, I can't wait. It should be, like I said, it could be a bad race. But the end result could be really great for NASCAR.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, Chicago, good. We agree on all things. So, so my former colleagues at NBC Sports today published a story about the whole Kyle Busch contract saga going on with Joe Gibbs Racing, and David Wilson, the president of Toyota Racing Development. Have you frozen, John?
No. No, I'm not frozen.
Oh, you just weren't moving it up. Okay. Anyway,
I got a text and I had to read it. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So David Wilson, the president of Toyota Racing Development, was quoted, as saying, "We are in a very bad place when it comes to making this new contract with Kyle Busch happen."
Which is just what you want to hear, right? If you're Kyle Busch.
Yeah, like he said, we have a lot of heavy lifting to do. It's July. Mm-hmm. We're halfway through the season, and the only multi-active Cup champion, Kyle Busch, the winningest active NASCAR driver, doesn't know for sure what his plans are going to be for 2023. And Joe Gibbs was asked, Sunday after Christopher Bell's win about the whole situation, and he said he was surprised that it's gotten to this point. Kyle Busch was asked Saturday, "Have you talked to other teams?" And he said, "Yeah, we've been talking to other teams." Right.
And that's fair. That's absolutely fair for him to be talking to other teams, because I wonder what's going on behind the scenes. Do you have any sort of intel about what's going on behind the scenes here? I know that a lot of teams keep contract stuff, pretty tight-lipped, but
I haven't talked to anyone, but I'm just going off the way people are acting, and they're not acting great. They're not acting optimistic. They're not.
No, they're not even paying service to oh yeah, we'll get something done.
They're saying we're working really hard. On this.
They're not even saying oh, we're confident we can get something done. We're in the weeds right now. We're confident we can get something done. They all seem to be ringing some alarms here. I
asked David Wilson last week during the 2311 Tyler Reddick announcement, was is there a drop dead date? Is there some date on the calendar where if we don't have a thing in place by this point, but he said there wasn't. He said there wasn't an absolute date. So I'm but I don't know. If I'm a betting man, based off what David Wilson said today, or said this week, I put it a 65% chance that Kyle Busch doesn't come back to JGR. But then I'm like, okay, where's he go? Like, you got the number 10 spot over at Stewart House Racing. That's really kind of like the only.
That's just what I was going to say.
The only spot that could potentially be open.
Unless RCR just wants to just go full nuclear with Tyler Reddick and get rid of him a year early in the 8.
I kind of thought about that too. Like butterfly effect, that happens. Instead of putting Ty Gibbs into the 18, you slide Tyler Reddick into the 18.
Slide Reddick in the 18 for a year.
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that'll happen. But it seems like this is all because they don't have a sponsor, right?
No, that's all it is.
That's all it is. They don't have a sponsor.
Like David Wilson told NBC Sports, it's still weird referring to NBC Sports as this other thing that I'm not part of. still weird. But he told them like they got close with one sponsor, but then it like fell through. So, and I know Adam Stern of Sports Business Journal tweeted at some point a few months ago that they were like close negotiations with like a tech company, I believe it was. So I'm gonna connect a couple dots and say get this thing with the tech company fell through. So like Mars announced they were leaving December of last year.
Yeah.
And so we're like 7-8 months later.
Yeah, they've had plenty of roadway here. And I wonder if, look, I know that it's hard to make a pitch these days to any company as to why they should spend tens of millions of dollars on putting their logo on the side of a race car. I know that's a tough sell. And I know that Kyle Busch is a polarizing figure. I know that
even though he is a polarizing figure, back at the end of 2020, a polling company, Morning Consult, I believe, did a poll about the most recognizable NASCAR drivers at the time. Number one was Bubba Wallace, basically because of everything that happened to him that year. Number two was Kyle Busch, and he was only behind by maybe 1 percentage point, 2. Chase Elliott, the most popular driver in NASCAR, was like 5th or 6th.
Well, I mean, for as prickly as Kyle Busch is, like, he never did anything to burn bridges with M&Ms. Like, he wasn't like he gave M&Ms plenty of
instances where they could go, never mind, we're gone. Nope. But they did not when he intentionally wrecked Ron Horvath at Texas in 2011. Not when he walked down pit road to Las Vegas and punched.
The things he did, but I'm saying when the cameras were in front of him and he was talking on the mic, he didn't I know his personality is prickly, but he didn't undercut M&Ms in that verbal kind of way. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying. He didn't bite the hand that feeds him in that explicit of a way. He still even though he's prickly and he's very difficult to deal with sometimes, he still knows who pays the bills and will walk that walk when he has to. He's in commercials.
Have you ever? I was about to say this. Have you ever? I can't remember ever seeing him in an M&M's commercial.
Nobody's in Toyota commercials.
Toyota commercials, but I've never.
He knows who's paying the bills. So if I was a gazillionaire and I had a bunch of money, I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of Kyle Busch representing my company necessarily in those regards. I know that he's not for everyone. He has to be a good fit. I don't think Chick-fil-A is going to sponsor him or anything. given because
I think Joe Gibbs would be okay with that.
Joe Gibbs would be okay with that. Yeah, absolutely. But I know Ty Gibbs is only 19. He's still winning a lot in Xfinity, and he's got Monster sponsorship already. Monster's already pouring millions of dollars into Kurt Busch, and the Cup Series in general is a general sponsor.
Kurt Busch though, you have to ask, does Monster want to pay for the main sponsorship of 2 Cup teams rather than 1 Cup team and 2 Xfinity teams?
Yeah, they have Riley Herbst.
Riley Herbst. So it's Joe Gibbs Racing officials have said their plan is they want another year in Xfinity for Ty Gibbs. And if I think anyone would do that based on he's still a
Oh,
rough
sure. I'm not saying
around
he,
the
I'm not
edge.
saying he, I'm not
Like-
saying he, I'm not saying he's ready. I'm not advocating for him to make the jump. I'm just saying, I mean, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So
eventually.
if push comes to shove, okay, he gets moved up to Cup for another year. He's going to have a safe spot there regardless, just because of who he is and who runs the team.
Yeah.
It's not like he's going to have a short leash. So if he takes another year getting his lumps, then does it really matter if he gets his lumps when he's 19 or 20 versus 20 and 21? Like, does it really matter? I mean, I'm just saying it just makes sense purely from a sponsorship perspective, assuming, like you said, Monster wants to fork up the money to pay for 2 Cup Series sponsors. But again, it would still be within house because 23XI is now in association with Joe Gibbs. So it's just Monster across the board there. So, but then the bigger question is if Kyle Busch does move on, where does he go? I mean, the 10 is the obvious choice. And we know that Stewart-Haas wants to go after big names. They made a real push for Kyle Larson after he was gone from Chip Ganassi. Just Ford X-nayed it because of why Kyle Larson was let go.
Well, here's the thing, like we mentioned RCR and Stewart-Haas. I think based off just the guys who own those teams, Richard Childress and Tony Stewart, they're probably more open to certain sponsors than maybe Joe Gibbs is.
Yes.
So I actually think, this is my gut feeling, that there'd be more potential opportunities with those teams.
I agree. Plus, like Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, like those 3 guys all doing the same things on the same team. That just it's just a bunch of old cantankerous dudes. Like that just it's just like on paper it just totally works. Like that just it just makes absolute sense. Or like grumpy old men free or whatever. Like it just makes absolute sense to me.
Well, do you think like Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick have a history?
Yes.
Though, I mean, like, which was, explored in the documentary, Rowdy, which I think they got into a good place, because I remember, 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was a race at Michigan. They were interviewed together during pre-race, and they were just like, being cordial and all that. But then Kevin Harvick tried to intentionally wreck Kyle Busch at Martinsville.
Yes.
at the end of 2020. So I was like, okay, what about now?
But granted, that was him trying to make a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch was already secured. Kyle Busch wasn't happy, but I don't think that rekindled any sort of feud or anything. So but I would think that'd be interesting. I think that's the most interesting scenario. My gut still tells me that they're going to find some sort of way to work this out. But I mean, it's not in a good spot. I mean,
like the longer it goes on, though, it's like.
Yes.
Anyway.
The people involved are not saying the right things necessarily.
No, they're not. Messaging is not confidence.
Man, how sweet would it be to see Kyle Busch driving for Tony Stewart? Oh man, with like
wait. I'm trying to remember if Kyle and Tony ever had any run-ins. Nothing really comes to mind.
I'm Googling Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch fight.
But think about it, two former JGR guys who, like, when Tony left, that was a huge deal. But really, I think the elephant in the room would really be the truck series, with what Kyle Busch partnered with Toyota. So I'm sure Ford would love for Busch to cross that line, because their Ford program's not great when it comes to
not at the truck level.
And also there's only 3 Fords in the Xfinity series.
I mean, maybe he could strike a deal where he still gets Toyota for trucks, because I mean, because that's his own team. Maybe as long as he doesn't, I don't know.
I can't remember if there's ever been any.
Because I mean, I know in for IndyCar and NASCAR, like Ganassi, when he was in IndyCar, when he was in NASCAR, he had Chevy, but then in IndyCar he had Honda, which is a direct competitor to Chevy.
Yeah, but that's different, completely different series.
Yeah, and I think it's different manufacturers as well.
Yeah, but so under the NASCAR umbrella, I can't imagine that would fly.
I don't think it would either, but maybe
that would be huge, though.
It would be huge. It would be huge.
Everything about this, even if you took out the truck thing, would be huge. But
I'm curious to know, if we gave, I don't think we'd have to give Kyle Busch truth serum, because he's always pretty obvious, but always pretty honest with where he's at. But I wonder, what his preferred outcome would be. Like, I'm sure it's to stay at Joe Gibbs. That's where he's been.
Yeah.
And in the 10 car, like, yeah, it's won races with Stewart Haas, but it's never been that's not like a top tier ride necessarily.
Oh, but you put Busch in that car, that instantly becomes at least the number 2 car behind Harvick. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade
like,
in terms of talent, but like I'm just saying, like, it's not like that. It's not like that car has history.
I think when it would come to focus and resources, it would get more. So because like right now it's Harvick,
Briscoe probably. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just Harvick and
that's the Tony Stewart car. So yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah, and then
Almirola, and then
Custer. Yeah, and Custer's just been a no-show since Kentucky. It seems like.
There's been a couple races where he's ran.
Yeah,
up front.
Yeah, he had a pretty decent showing at New Hampshire, if I recall. So it's settled. We both picked Jacques Villeneuve to drive the 18 car next year.
Yes. Yeah, you heard it here first, everyone.
God, I would love that. I hope he comes back to the Daytona 500 next year. That was so cool.
All right, so
I don't have anything else to say. Oh yeah, Pocono.
So the Tricky Triangle.
Tricky Triangle.
Put on some interesting races last few years. Last year, Kyle Larson looked to be running away, and then he lost the cut tire, hit the wall. Alex Bowman swoops in and wins it. I remember where I was when that happened. So I was in a bar down on Main Street, Springdale, when I saw that happen on TV. I was like, what the heck? But yeah, our total chaos picks. I can't even remember who I picked.
I chose Blaney.
You chose Blaney. For my official pick. Oh, this is hard. Where did that?
Yeah, it's really hard.
All right, I picked Harvick. That's who I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's who I picked. I picked Harvick for Pocono.
Well, he won in 2020. Ryan Blaney got 2017. So your chaos pick is also your actual pick. Are you taking Harvick in both instances?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, man, there was a time where it was just the Kyle Busch show and the Toyota show in general out there from 2017.
No, when Kyle Busch won there was it last year? No. Well, he won. There's 2 races last year. Did he win one of them?
I can't remember. I can't recall.
Anyway, but he won there at some point in like the last 2 years. That was his first win.
He did win last year.
Okay. He's never been exceptional, Pocono. And so that was actually
he's got 4 wins there.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
2017, 2018, 2019, 2021.
Okay. Up until 2017. I think that he had never been exceptional. So
yeah, it's been ever since 2017, Toyota's won every race at Pocono except twice. Harvick in a Ford, Bowman in a Chevrolet.
And Bowman was a last minute thing, but
Larson
was going
to win anyway. So, I'm going to go with Toyota on this one. My chaotic pick was Blaney. I'm going to go with Truex.
Okay. He got his, has he won twice there?
He won in 2018 and 2015.
Yeah, 2015. I remember where I was in 2015. I was at antique shopping with my great aunt and uncle. Because that was like the first race that I hadn't watched live in like 2 years. So so it was notable for Truex winning because it was his first win with Furniture Row Racing. So yeah. So I got Harvick, you got Truex.
Yes,
okay.
And like I said earlier, I'm excited to see how this car races for implications of Indianapolis, to see if there's any hope that this new car can race on the oval at Indy. But we'll see. That's why they have the races, Daniel.
You got to race them. So in 2 weeks, the NASCAR goes back to Indianapolis. I will be covering that race for Front Stretch and then also some speed sport stuff. So I will be getting to see you in person, John. I'll be staying in your basement. Is that the arrangement?
I have a basement. I have an office room. We'll figure it out.
So I'll be there flying in Thursday. So I'll be there a few days. So we'll get to record this show. Do you got an extra microphone?
I don't.
Okay.
Pack a microphone.
Gonna be interesting. Okay. But still, we can do this in person.
We can do it in person. We'll figure it out.
So cool. I'm totally expecting you to go out for a night in like Broad Ripple, or Mass.
We can just there's plenty of places we could head up across the street from the track. But yeah, I'm happy to go to Mass Ave or anywhere around town. We'll figure something out. But yeah, we could do what if we did like an old school sports talk radio thing? We recorded a podcast like at a bar in Speedway. We just got a table.
People are just like staring at us as we're talking to.
Yeah.
We're live here from.
I think the Crimson Tide are going to go all the way this year. Anyways, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Boilermakers, book it.
Gross. This is an IU house, sir. How dare you?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I have a degree from Indiana.
I wore a St. Peter's Peacock T-shirt a couple weeks ago, and I got some guy with a Purdue hat just giving me sideways looks. Like, it's not my fault that y'all lost to a school that small. Did you watch Bomani Jones's HBO show?
What's that called? Game Theory?
Game Theory, yeah. Did you watch
it? I've never watched it, but I'm aware of it.
It was pretty good. But it was around, the first season came out around the time that March Madness was going on, and they filmed it in New York, and so he went over to Jersey City, where St. Peter's is, and he was just asking people what they knew about Purdue University. And this one guy was like, "Yo, Purdue, y'all need to shut down your whole sports program. Y'all just lost to St. Peter's. It's like this is the most embarrassing loss in the entire school history." And Bomani Jones is like, "What do you know about Purdue?" "Man, all I know is they're a chicken tender farm school."
What does that even mean?
Like, they just produce like an agricultural school. So he's like, all I know is y'all the chicken tender farm school. So
was that okay? Well, that's a discussion to have. What's the most embarrassing loss? Was I think Michigan losing to
Appalachia State.
No. It was in basketball to New Jersey something.
I mean, Kentucky losing to St. Peter's has got to be one of the more embarrassing upsets. Not because St. Peter's didn't have talent, obviously they did, but just the dollar that each program spent on its team was like the largest upset in NCAA history.
But no, Michigan lost. Michigan.
For every dollar St. Peter's spent, Kentucky spent 10, 12, something like that. It was an obscene difference in expenditures between the programs.
What was that school called?
Daniel's
NJIT.
When was this?
Where's the December 6th, 2014. New Jersey Institute of Technology. 7270.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was
almost 8 years ago. That was a lifetime ago.
We had just graduated.
I'd been living in Texas for about 6 weeks, so that was a long time ago.
I was in Charlotte with Sporting News for the first. So
now we're old, grizzled men. We were such young, bright-eyed idealists. Now we're just jaded cynics. Pocono's gonna suck
with a podcast.
Martin Truex is gonna lead 400 laps and win the whole thing.
Oh gosh.
Anyways, I've said my piece, sir.
All right,
bring us home.
Yeah, this has been a good one. Can't wait for Chicago next year. New Hampshire was about a Ferris Bueller kind of race, and we went maximum chaos on our picks for the last 6 races. Should we just keep doing the maximum chaos thing each week?
Yes.
If people are eliminated. All right, who's gonna win?
Yes. So you chose Harvick, I chose Blaney. Okay, cool.
All right. But yeah, this has been the latest episode of Dropping a Hammer. This was a good time. We will talk to you again, maybe next week, maybe the week after that, live from Indianapolis. Live from John's basement. Or his office.
Good morning, everyone. It's the Wacky Morning Radio Hour. I'm Jon LaFollette. With me standing in the crowd talking about NASCAR. NASCAR. Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Wow, it's crazy. Sorry.
Live from John's porch.
Yes. Yes. We just, what little listenership we had just turned off the show. So.
That would be cool if this show was big enough, if we could actually like do like a live show from the track. That'd be cool.
I mean, you're in the media center. I would have to like sneak in. You'd have to get me in somehow. That's not going to happen. So
hiding you under a trench coat.
Maybe Sam King can give me his pass and let me in. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That would be cool. That would really like, especially because they got the clear booths up there for like, so after everyone's gone, they've abandoned their posts. We could like, yeah,
we could record the podcast right next to the Teardown podcast. Anyways.
Speaking of Jeff Gluck's good brace pull, dong dong dong. Did you hear that, Jeff? we're doing the thing. We're doing the segment.
And then that's when security comes out and they just mace us and drag us away. They don't even let us get our stuff. They just throw us out of the gates. And that's
I
it.
got a hard card though. I got a hard. Anyway, this has been Dropping the Hammer with Dan McFadden. I'm Dan McFadden. Follow me on Twitter at Dan McFadden. Follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/Dan McFadden. Subscribe to Dropping the Hammer on your favorite podcasting platform. John, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at Jon LaFollette.
All right.
Yep.
And on TikTok, where you can get the occasional review of vinyl records.
Occasional, whenever I get the gumption.
And whenever the algorithm picks it up.
Yep.
I should say, please check out, I just published an interview I did with part-time NASCAR driver Sage Karam, technically former. I mean, he was in the Indy 500 this year.
Yeah, he does the 500 every year.
So Sage Karam, who you may have gotten acquainted with a couple of weeks ago after his altercation with Noah Gragson of Road America. So we talk about that. We talk about his transition from IndyCar to NASCAR. I loved this, John. He discovered autograph culture in NASCAR. He's had people come up to him with like pieces of his cars from like the previous week to get autographed. He's like, wait, what? That doesn't happen in IndyCar. So that was fun.
Because in IndyCar, the debris is too small to get autographs because those cars just get shredded like cheese in a grater.
Yeah. But we do talk about the whole Noah Gragson of it all. They're now apparently on good terms. He had kind things to say about Gragson after, a couple weeks ago, calling him a punk, crazy, and dangerous and all that stuff.
Sounds like my ex-wife, am I right? No, I'm joking.
But this weekend, Pocono Raceway is his home track, and he will be racing at the track for the first time since the 2015 IndyCar crash that he was involved in. He spun out in turn one, hit the wall, and a piece of the nose cone of his car hit the helmet of Justin Wilson, and Justin Wilson succumbed to the injuries from that the next day. This will be Karam's first race there since then. So it's a big deal for him. And like I asked him, like, because after the whole thing at Road America and Karam's reaction to it, I asked him, I thought about it, Sage. It was like, was having the experience of being involved in that crash at Pocono in 2015 and what happened to it, did that play a part in your reaction to Noah Gragson's? But he did intentionally wrecking you. And he said, yeah. He said, I told him that. Because at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Saturday of the Xfinity race, NASCAR brought them together and had a meeting, and they talked it out for 45 minutes or so. And Sage said, yeah, I told him about that. I told him, if there's anyone here who knows what could happen in a freak accident, it's me. And so for you to intentionally wreck someone like you did baffles me. And he said he didn't think that Gragson had thought about that. He said he thought a light bulb kind of went off for Gragson. It's like, all right, you're totally right.
So turns out that weaponizing a race car might have terrible consequences. Who knew?
It's kind of ironic because Matt Weaver of Racing America. He posted a Facebook memory from 2015 at the Texas race, where I was there. It was a photo from pit road of Ed Carpenter confronting Sage Karam on pit road after they had.
Yes, I remember that.
I don't remember what happened, but the quote that
Karam did a really dangerous pass and basically cut off Ed Carpenter, and Carpenter had to let out of the gas to avoid a very serious crash. That's what had to happen.
Okay, all right. So the quote that Matt included underneath the photo was Carpenter, berating Karam, saying, "You're an effing weapon. You're going to get someone killed." And this is months before the Pocono race.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw that a few days ago, I was like, "Oh wow, that." And now you have Karam like doing it not directly to Gregson at Road America, but into a microphone saying he's a weapon. He like it. So it was very, kind of a.
No, it's a good juxtaposition, and Karam's really learned a lot. He had to learn a lot of things really hard ways. I mean, obviously, the crash at Pocono wasn't intentional the way that Gregson's was. It was just a freak accident. But no, I've really come to respect Karam a lot. I remember when he first showed up, he was just 19 or something when he first started racing at the 500. And
that month, the month of May, that was my first month ever professionally covering a motorsport.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. I was there. Yeah.
Sage Karam is one of the first one-on-one interviews I had that month. Like right after qualifying for the Indy 500. And so fast forward to now, and he's trying to get into NASCAR, and here I am. I'm about to go back up to Indianapolis again next week, where my professional career started. So it's very, time works in a weird ways, John.
Yes, it does. We're just insignificant specks of sand on a random rock in the middle of a vast, uncaring universe, just turning left in the solar system.
This has been deep thoughts.
And that is how
this has been John's deep thoughts on dropping the hammer.
That is how I know that Dale Earnhardt is God, because he too turns left. So
did you see that video that got posted on Twitter? I think it was, I can't remember who posted it. I think it was maybe NASCAR man of Dale Earnhardt like slithering his way into the cockpit of his car, like just like an amoeba, like maybe qualifying for Daytona or something like that. It's like, and everyone who like is quote tweeting it saying, "How did he do that?"
Dale Earnhardt could do anything. Bless that man. Rest his soul. All right, take us home again.
All right, this has been Dropping the Hammer. Please check out. This is our third ending. Please check out my interview with Sage Karam. Please check out my work at FrenchRish.com. Also Speed Sport. So I'll have a full story on Sage Karam publishing here in the next day or so. So, but yeah, I'm Dale McFadin. With me, as always, has been Jon LaFollette. Say bye, John.
Bye, John.
I was waiting for that. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Yep.
All right.
Sweet. Good show.
That was fun.
I gotta go because I got stuff I have to do this evening. But text me. We'll be on the text and stuff. We'll figure out plans for next weekend.
I don't know what my flight plan is.
Okay.
But I'm supposed to be flying in Thursday.
Do you know what time?
No idea.
Okay. Yeah, just keep me posted. We'll figure stuff out. We'll see what we can do. So
go to that Truck Series race, baby.
Woo! I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be fun.
I was at the last Xfinity race there. So go back in 11. So now I'll get to be at the return.
Yep.
To IRP.
Definitely looking forward to it. That's the first time I will have been there in a very, very, very long time. So at least to see an oval race. I've been to some of the drags before over the years, but not a big drag racing guy. Just not.
I went out there when I was doing school. I went out there for, it wasn't an Indy Lights race.
Was it some sort of like Indy Formula race? Was it open wheel?
Like USF 2000 maybe?
Yeah, it's probably. I know they used to do racing out there. I think they still do.
So, yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So
Forward to it too.
all right, man.
Yep.